Thanks very much, Gemma. Do you want stability in your life? Would you like to only work 4 hours per week? And do you want to get rich quick? Then entrepreneurship is not for you. Hello, my name's Keith. I've been a full-time entrepreneur since 2012, so that makes it around about 10 years now. The past few years have taught me that in business, everything changes fast. Nothing stands still, and as an entrepreneur, you have to live your life by thriving on uncertainty. In this presentation, I'm going to talk about my journey over the past few years, dealing with the COVID pandemic, with having an entertainment business, adapting things, and working with changes that's going to happen in the next year above, everything in between. So without further ado, I'll start things off here now. Little introduction to what I've done. I've founded Las Vegas Casino Hire in 2007 when I used my student loan to fund the first 2 casino tables. We hire out casinos to play for fun, for weddings, fundraisers, and events. We now have nationwide coverage with satellite bases throughout the UK and Ireland. I've also founded entertainmentideas.com, an entertainment agency providing bands, musicians, and entertainers throughout Northern Ireland. In 2017, I teamed up with my business partner, Dennis Finnegan, and we started bookentertainment.com. This is a UK-wide entertainment booking marketplace. So if you think of booking.com for hotels, we're like booking.com, but for entertainment. We connect people with bands, musicians, DJs, and event professionals to people who are looking to book entertainment for their event, whether that be a wedding, a corporate event, a party, or any kind of event that you imagine. In 2019, we won a place at the Ignite Pre-Accelerator program. And in that year, we grew our marketplace to over 2,500 bands, musicians, and entertainers all across the UK. And in January 2020, we got into the Ignite Accelerator program. We were ready for investment, and we had our flights booked to San Francisco. And I was at the top of my game in 2020. And this was really the year that I was going to make a difference to my life. And we all know what really happened in 2020 then after. I brushed off COVID-19 as a silly scare story that was in the media. I was in the accelerator program on the first week at the Armo Baths in Belfast. And Book Entertainment had just reached #1 on Google for all the major searches throughout the UK. So I was really, really excited this was now going to happen. And we were sitting with a motivational speaker for our first seminar in the Ignite program. And I was absolutely buzzing in the first hour. But then I noticed my phone was buzzing with emails. My phone always buzzes with emails, but this was really going crazy with emails. And having a quick look in the tea break, all the emails were cancellations from my clients for the casino hire business, saying that due to COVID, they can't run these big events no more. I was like, what the heck's going on here? So I had a quick look at Book Entertainment on the admin view that I have for it. And I seen the same thing, cancellations, cancellations, cancellations. I left the motivational speaker early and got the 212 bus back home again. On the bus, I was thinking, what the heck do I do next? COVID got worse and the first lockdown was announced. My staff and overheads still had to be paid, and my reserve of money for the business would only last around 2 months without any sales coming in. To make things worse, school was shutting down, and because of COVID, you couldn't really leave the house, so we couldn't get the grandparents to look after the child. My wife works for the NHS, so she couldn't be there, and I had to be a teacher, a stay-at-home parent. And the icing on the cake was the gyms were shutting down, so there was no more exercise to clear my mind. And I now had to deal with homeschooling, deal with hundreds of cancellations, deal with clients demanding their deposits refunded, and trying to keep the lights on in my business, pay the staff while 0 sales were happening. Then the accelerator program went on to Zoom, and I had to prepare to meet investors online. I tried my hardest, but it was extremely difficult to focus and have the right mindset of all the chaos that the COVID lockdown was causing. My blood pressure was rising during this, And I actually ended up in Altnagelvin cardiac investigations on Easter Sunday. The stress that I was under gave me so much stress that I actually have high blood pressure. And to this day, I'm still taking medication for high blood pressure. Thankfully, the government provided furlough and some grants. And I was lucky that I set my business up in the right way to get these. And it took a little bit of pressure off, but not all of it. During that summer of 2020, I was at a loose end. School was finishing. I decided to do something a little bit different and turn the van that we use for the casino hire into a camper van. And when the restrictions lifted, we headed off all around the country. And this just gave me this little bit of break and this little bit of peace and time to get my head straight, to think, what's the next step? What am I going to do next to fix this? I couldn't fix COVID. I couldn't fix cancellations. What am I going to do next? In the summer, some restrictions were lifted just for a little while. And we did get a few casino bookings, but they weren't really enough to keep the lights on. There wasn't any bookings coming free book entertainment in the UK, and furlough was being reduced, but there was still no sign of the hospitality or the event market recovering. I needed to do something with my life. Christmas was usually our busiest time of the year for the casino hire business, where big companies like Google, Apple, Dell, Facebook, they all book their casino nights in Dublin, and that's the time where we make our most money. It was looking likely that these events weren't going to happen this year. When finishing the accelerator program, we didn't secure investment, and as our market wasn't there because of COVID, the investors weren't going to invest anything in it. We did get great advice, and we looked into turning book entertainment into a SaaS product. SaaS means software as a subscription. At the end of the summer in 2020, Dennis and I have been working on the concept of making book entertainment into a sales and CRM system for the entertainers. So when things got back, we've got a new software product that we could sell to them. This was the first time we were sort of getting something positive and something new was changing. And we pitched this to Techstart for the proof of concept, and we won the award for the proof of concept. So this was going to be something massive. And then we realized then that as well as doing entertainers and events, we could actually use the software for general sales, whether it be car sales, sales of insurance, other types of sales. And this would be something actually really massive. But my problem was that the software was just in the planning stages, and it really wasn't going to be ready for the next 2 or 3 years. So I needed to find some way of making a living in the present. And as furlough was finishing, we were back to square one. Still didn't know what I was going to do. I applied to be a civil servant during this stage, and my plan was to work at that until the software was ready. But for myself, being self-employed for around about 8 years, I probably would have lasted about 5 minutes being a civil servant. My parents owned Donaghy's Fish and Chips in the Waterside, and they stayed open all the way through COVID. Even when McDonald's closed, they stayed open. He needed a delivery driver, so I helped him out for a week or two. Needed the money, needed something to do, so I decided to go and do deliveries. And I noticed that he needed 2 members of staff to manage phone orders. And one phone call took around about 5 minutes to take the order down, take the payment over the phone, get the details, confirm addresses. He did use some sort of online ordering system, but it was inefficient, and the commission was ridiculous that he was paying for it. I did some research, and I found that I could develop a system to take food orders, just like book entertainment would take entertainment bookings. So I created Donaghy's.app, built them an iOS and Android app, and a little website to take orders, just to help the family out. We connected the hardware and printers, and we actually doubled his delivery orders within 2 weeks of that going live. That was just to help my family out. Next door to our chip shop, we have 2 North Street Food. I was friendly with the owners, and they had set their business out to be a sit-in, but obviously with COVID restrictions, it was takeout only. They asked me, could I build them a similar system? So I did that for them just as a favor. And whilst that was going on, Donaghy's was getting really busy that my dad had to expand his kitchen just to cope with the demand. There was a guy in fitting all the metal work who owned also a place called Bishop's Bistro. It's now called The Lights, just in Pennyburn. And he seen the system and contacted me to see if he could have it. And we got down to pricing and things. I didn't know what to charge, but this wasn't a thing that I had started. I just done this to help out people. And I sat for a few hours then, had a cup of coffee, done a one-page business plan and thought, you know what, we could start this as a business. I ran some projections, some calculations, and you know what, there was nothing to lose. So I started up foodserve.app. Foodserve.app provides takeaways and restaurants with their own online ordering system, their own apps, Facebook ordering, and website. It's something new that I could work with, and it didn't really rely on the live event industry. So I thought, yeah, this is something I can do during the pandemic. So as you know, business is 1% inspiration, but it's 99% perspiration. And as the Wolf of Wall Street says, pick up the phone and start dialing. And that's what I did. I started cold calling every takeaway in the city. I hopped into my camper van and I knocked down the doors. Motivation was there and I was hungry for success. 1 year later, we have over 70 takeaways and restaurants using FoodServe. We also have expanded to Letterkenny, Coleraine, Limavady and Belfast, and we're aiming to have over 150 outlets on board by next year. A lot of clients were complaining about big food ordering marketplaces, the likes of your Just Eat, your Uber Eats, your Deliveroos. And I thought I could build something like food booking, and I did. So I started Food Booking NI, built an iOS and Android app. And it's a marketplace where you can have a look at all your local takeaways and order online direct to them. So you're not paying Just Eat or Uber Eats or all these things, their fees. And the takeaways and restaurants are saving out on the huge commissions. My little plug for today is if you go to your iOS store or your Android store, type in Food Booking and download the app. And if you're hungry for lunch, if you're hungry for tea tonight, you can order it from there. 2022, after the pandemic, and then the really annoying pandemic of Omicron again, this is all finished up. And the entertainment business has actually bounced back to normality. Book Entertainment has started gaining great traction, and we've remained #1 on the major UK searches. And just this year, we've actually made our first full-time hire for the business as well. The casino business is getting back to normal with bookings flying in again. And online ordering is still as hugely popular as it was during COVID. However, we see that the bigger players, like the Just Eats, the Uber Eats, the Deliveroos, they're all getting very, very greedy with their commissions. And they're starting to really get a lot of control over the takeaways and restaurants. The big picture for their business is that they own all the customers, they own all the customer data, and they're using their partners just to get local data, getting everybody's names, email addresses, everything like that. And they want the takeaways just to be there to cook food because they own the customer. And in London, especially now, they've started up dark kitchens where they're actually using that data to outsmart all the local takeaways, and they're doing all their own stuff for 100% of their commission. This model's coming through and it will be UK wide probably the next few years. And the control that they're having over takeaways is actually quite scary. I'm addressing this by adapting FoodServe now to provide a full marketing service for my takeaway partners. And our aim is to have all the customers order directly with the restaurant or takeaway. We look after all the marketing from photography to TikTok to Facebook to Instagram, and all they have to do is cook the food, but they're getting orders through our system, which means that they're paying less commission, but that they own the customers and the customers are ordering directly with them. So far, all the customers I've signed up to this have given me really, really good feedback on how it's working and how it's getting people away from the marketplaces. And my aim this year now is we're changing FoodServe into takeaway marketing and taking it on a different angle. So as you see, there's always change in business. And to wrap things up today, what I'll tell you is that nothing stands still and you can't prepare for anything. Who would have thought about lockdowns? Who would have thought about COVID? And who would have thought today that fuel prices are so bloody high this week? There's loads of stuff that changes all the time and you have to learn to adapt to them. And as an entrepreneur, you have to be resilient and adapt to change and uncertainty. If you don't, you'll be left behind. Thank you very much.
Hi, Keith. I'm sure everybody will agree that was a great, really inspirational presentation, and thank you so much for taking the time. And this will be available, obviously, as I was mentioning, we've recorded it, so we will get it up onto our YouTube channel and give the people the option then to watch it at a later time, on a later date. But I think that's us for now.
No problem at all. Thank you very much.
Keith, thanks a million.